All right. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Uh, Ashar Shabbat. Um, Welcome back to Hebrew Chosen Elect Sabbath class. All Israel. I want to start by giving all praise, glory, and honor. Yahweh Bashem Mashiach. Yahweh Shai. Yahweh being the true name of Heavenly Father. Yahweh Shai Mashiach being the true name of Hebrew, in the Hebrew of who the world English calls Jesus the Christ. We will be picking back up in our reading Deuteronomy chapter 16 this week. That's Deuteronomy chapter 16. However, before we get started, just a quick reminder of our upcoming feast days and new moons, which are coming up very, very shortly. Seeing as though we just had our new moon for the 7th month, September the 12th. No, my bad. August 14th, our next new moon will be September the 12th. So September the 12th at sundown, which will also be our first high holy day of this new quote unquote feast season, feast of blowing of the trumpets. So that's mark your calendar, September the 12th at sundown, feast of trumpets. It's a Saturday. So we'll have Shabbat class, and then we'll segment right into keeping the feast of trumpets, right? Which would probably be here unless somebody has anywhere else, any other ideas they'd like to have it. But yeah, if you watch online, you'd like to come out and keep the feast with us, get in contact with me or Yakanan. If you know somebody else in the camp, you can reach out to them, and we'll get you squared away with coming out to the exact times and what you might could bring and whatnot like that. Then after that, we have Day of Atonement, September the 21st, Day of Atonement, sundown, feast followed by Feast of Tabernacles, the 26th of September to the 4th of October. Sundown for those dates as well. September 26th, sundown, October 4th at sundown. And then Purim, December the 4th. So, yeah, if you'd like to come out, keep these feast days with us. If you're not already coming in person to congregate, just reach out. We'll get you squared away, whatnot. Come keep the feast day. And then also, as always, if you'd like to donate, like the scriptures say, alms delivereth from death. And I think one says, cover a multitude of transgressions. If they're done of a willing mind, if it's in your heart, you want to donate, please do so at Cash App at hashtag Hebrew Chosen Elect. It's going across the bottom of the screen. Also, you can get in contact with me or Yakanan through the phone numbers going across the bottom of the screen for questions, concerns, or like I said, coming out the feast days, or if you'd like to join the camp or come to class. So I think that's it for the announcements for now. And we'll go ahead and get straight into the reading. Which is Deuteronomy chapter 16, verse 1.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 16, verse 1. Observe the month of Abib, and keep the Passover unto Yahweh thy power. For in the month of Abib, Yahweh thy power brought thee forth out of Egypt by night. Thou shalt therefore sacrifice the Passover unto Yahweh thy power of the flock and the herd, in the place which Yahweh shall choose to place his name there. Thou shalt eat no leavened bread with it. 7 days shalt thou eat unleavened bread therewith. even the bread of affliction. For thou camest forth out of the land of Egypt in haste, that thou mayest remember the day when thou camest forth out of the land of Egypt all the days of thy life. And there shall be no leavened bread seen with thee in all thy coasts 7 days. Neither shall there anything of the flesh which thou sanctifiest the first day at even remain all night until the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Thou mayest not sacrifice the Passover within any of thy gates, which Yahweh thy power giveth thee. But at the place which Yahweh thy power shall choose to place his name in, there thou shalt sacrifice the Passover at even, at the going down of the sun, at the season that thou camest forth out of Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
And thou shalt roast and eat it in the place which Yahweh thy power shall choose. And thou shalt turn in the morning and go unto thy tents.
So this obviously is going into Passover. And one thing that's of notice is this really was like an overnight feast. This was like an all-night feast day because it was sacrificed in the evening, right? At nighttime. And then it says in the morning you go to your tent. So we was feasting from basically sundown to sun up, right? When it was done in its right form in Jerusalem. This is an all-night feast. You'll see, and you'll still today see things like that in other like countries that they'll be feasting, have the little festivals. They'll go all night, like different villages in Europe and maybe in South America and places like that, where it's a whole festival that the whole village takes part in. They might have it going down the whole center main street in Africa. Yeah, they'll be going all night. So that's how it was with Passover. So it's like the way we do it today obviously isn't keeping the law by the letter. First off, we don't sacrifice Passover because we're not in our land and we don't have a temple, even if we were, right? But we keep it as a memorial. And yeah, you'd be hard pressed to find cats that can even stay up all night. You know what I'm saying? People's tired, people old, they not used to it. You know, very few is even able to stay up all night. You know, most people they keep the feast and they in bed by 12 o'clock. Right. This is an all night thing. And then you go home in the morning back to your tents. Right. Keep going.
6 days thou shalt eat unleavened bread, and on the 7th day shall be a solemn assembly to Yahweh thy power. Thou shalt do no work therein.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 9. 7 weeks shalt thou number unto thee, begin to number the 7 weeks from such time as thou beginnest to put the sickle to the corn. And thou shalt keep the feast of weeks unto Yahweh thy power with a tribute of a free will offering of thine hand, which thou shalt give unto Yahweh thy power, according to Yahweh thy power hath blessed thee. And thou shalt rejoice before Yahweh thy power, thou and thy son, and thy daughter, and thy manservant, and thy maidservant, and the Levite that is within thy gates, and the stranger, and the fatherless, and the widow that are among you, in the place which Yahweh thy power hath chosen to give his name there. And thou shalt remember that thou was a bond in Egypt, and thou shalt observe and do these statutes. Verse 13. Thou shalt observe the Feast of Tabernacles 7 days. After that, thou hast gathered in thy corn and thy wine, and thou shalt rejoice in thy feast, thou and thy son, and thy daughter, and thy manservant, and thy maidservant, and the Levite, the stranger, and the fatherless, and the widow that are within thy gates. 7 days shalt thou keep a solemn feast unto Yahweh thy power, in the place which Yahweh thy power shall choose, because Yahweh thy power shall bless thee in all thine increase, and in all the works of thine hand. Therefore thou shalt surely rejoice. 3 times in a year shall all thy mates, males appear before Yahweh thy power, in the place which he shall choose, in the feast of unleavened bread, and in the feast of weeks, and in the feast of tabernacles. And they shall not appear before Yahweh empty.
Mm-hmm.
Every man shall give as he is according to the blessing of Yahweh thy power, which he had given thee.
And that verse right there. So, well, first foremost, obviously, it's dealing with 3 main feast days right now. That's why it says all the males shall appear, because in Leviticus 23 it gives you more feast days, all of which were to keep. But even there, it said 3 of those feast days it was required, it was mandatory that all men be at those feast days. And this is basically Moses reiterating those 3 main feast days that all males were required to. It didn't matter where you live, you was required to come to Jerusalem and keep these feast days. And when you come, every man was supposed to give, like it says, as he was able. So we talked about how the tithes today, the church does it completely wrong and is off as all, I don't know what. The tithing and giving was supposed to be according to as you were able, right? As you were able, according to the blessing of the Lord thy God. So we was in our inheritance, and the blessing that the Most High was given was what? What was the blessing that the Most High was given? All right, you're on your own land.
Gave you increase.
Increase. Thank you. It wasn't you being a servant to somebody else and working for chump change and helping them get their increase, and then you was paying them bills also for everything to live, basically giving back already everything you made just to live in that land, and then come and give 10 plus 10, 30% basically, right? This is just another one. The Most High wanted you to give according as you was able. Just to show how wicked the pastor's day is, that they'll shut the doors and they'll demand of you. Nobody's leaving till we get $10,000 today, $30,000 today. We're going to stay in here. You might as well grab a pillow, stretch out. Nobody's going nowhere till we get this money. Right? The Most High didn't require those type of things from the real servants of God. Go ahead.
Verse 18. Judges and officers shall thou make thee in all thy gates, which Yahweh thy power giveth thee throughout thy tribes, and they shall judge the people with just judgment.
So it was a law that, okay, y'all gonna make judges and officers throughout all your gates, right? Keep going.
Thou shalt not wrest judgment. Thou shalt not respect persons, neither take a gift. For a gift doth blind the eyes of the wise and pervert the words of the righteous.
Mm-hmm. So this is something that we was commanded to do, basically to govern ourselves according to what? The Most High's laws, not according to all the other nations around us, all the other heathens and their ways that change and are in servitude to other gods. He was giving us laws that were laws that would keep you holy and just, and also to govern the community. So in that, we were supposed to put those people in those offices. That's something we can still do today, even though we're subject to other people's court systems. We can still have judges today that judge matters because we're technically a community that has decided we're going to live off of these laws. So if everybody is in one accord and agreement, which he quote unquote Hebrew Israelites are, that we're going to live according to the laws of God, we can have judges because we're going to be subject to what the book says is right and what's wrong, right? But the Christian church today will teach you you can't judge. The followers will argue with you can't judge. But what's the Bible say? Bible says that for one, in the law, you was to appoint judges and officers to keep order and to see that we all were following his laws, his commandments. You was gonna say something, Kalak?
I was going to say, Salaki, I was going to say what you just said. And by the way, we do have a book of Judges.
Yeah, we got a whole book of Judges, which those judges were men that the Most High raised up as to judge, and in that to save the people. Because why? When we separate from the laws of God, what happens? Bad things happen, right? Deuteronomy 28, we suffer punishments, we suffer curses. So of course they want us to think that we can't judge and we shouldn't have people to execute judgment amongst us as a people, because what? They're going to bring the people back to keeping the laws and is going to bring the people back into the graces of the Most High. What you got?
The book of Judges, chapter 2, verse 18. And when Yahweh raised them up judges, then Yahweh was with the judge.
Hold up. Continue.
And when Yahweh raised them up judges, then Yahweh was with the judge and delivered them out of the hand of their enemies all the days of the judge. For it repented Yahweh because of their groanings, by reason of them that oppressed them and vexed them.
See, our people need judges. Our people need judgment, right? Because that's what we lack. That's one of the main problems in our community, with our people as a whole. The lack of having judges, the lack of having elders, the lack of just being subject to somebody that's telling you what's right and what's wrong, and you know you're wrong. And because you're wrong, just getting in order with what's right.
See, nowadays the kids don't want you to tell them nothing.
Nothing.
They don't even know how to be quiet and don't say nothing when you're talking to them. They don't got no clue that you're trying to give them a righteous judgment.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, because their parents is missing the mark, or even giving them judgment, letting them do what they want to do and all type of crazy stuff.
Right. Which is what? Systematic.
Yeah.
Because they understand that, okay, if these people have order, for one, they understand they're going to have a God protecting them.
Yeah.
But not just that, they understand that, let's say they didn't have a God. If they in order and they united, they're a what? They're a force.
Yeah. You grieve your enemy when you teach your children, when you teach your sons, when you teach them the righteous path. Verse 19. And it came to pass when the judge was dead that they returned and corrupted themselves more than their fathers, in following other gods to serve them and to bow down unto them. They ceased not from their own doings, nor from their stubborn way.
And that's also why they have the understanding of the elders or the judge. Because when the judge was dead, it said what happened to people corrupted themselves more and more. So they even had that understanding in Maccabees' time, because they did what? They went to the elder, the first one that refused. And what they say? They said, because this man has such pull with his people, we're going to offer him, you ain't even got to eat it. Just pretend to eat it. Because we can have one, we can have two that's obedient to the Most High, that's obedient to their God. We just need the whole, because we understand that through counsel, they understand that if this people go off, the Lord is going to be mad at them as a people. Right? And we can show that next. Go ahead.
Verse 20. And the anger of Yahweh was hot against Israel. And he said, because that this people have transgressed my covenant, which I commanded their fathers, and have not hearkened unto my voice, I also will not henceforth drive out any from before them of the nations which Joshua left when he died, that through them I may prove Israel whether they will keep the way of Yahweh to walk therein as their fathers did keep it or not. Therefore, Yahweh left those nations without driving them out hastily, neither delivered he them into the hand of Joshua.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Showing you're destroyed as you're destroyed as a people, as a community, as a nation, if you don't have this, if you don't have judges, if you don't have people that oversee differences or various different matters and bring judgment according to the scriptures. Right. Men of renown, men to give counsel. These are judges. Judges isn't just someone that sits in a courthouse, right? Matter of fact, the word for judge is what? In Hebrew, Alahayim, right? So in the scripture that says, ye are gods, is speaking to the children of Israel as a whole, right? Ye are gods, ye are Alahayim, ye are judges of the earth. That's what that means. Get Judith 5. What I get? Like imagine if we as a people, right, was all in one accord, in agreement with this Bible, and in agreement with running our communities according to the scriptures, right? You wouldn't have black on black crime. You wouldn't have protests pleading to municipalities for justice because an officer shot down one of our children because he may or may not have had a gun. You wouldn't have that because guess what? You wouldn't have YNs in the neighborhood. How do you know that? Because what's the law on a son that's a glutton and refuses to obey?
Stoning.
Exactly. Bring him to the elders and stone him in front of the people. So you might have that. And yeah, let's bring it up today. We're under a government where then we be going to jail. You can't do that. But what can you do? As a neighborhood, you can be in agreement. When everybody's in agreement, it don't matter if it's my son, your son, he got to get out of our neighborhood. And we all on one accord, you are banished. Not just see what we do though is when we get fed up, we put our kids out of the house. Then what they do? They just go to a friend's house. They still in the neighborhood. They terrorize the neighborhood, right? But we're tired of them, so we get rid of them. Nah, if we was following the laws of God, we'd be together as a community. Like, you guys to go out the community. And that would bring what? That bring peace, at least peace to the community.
Yeah.
And it also might actually work in deterring our youth from even going down that path because they see, oh, it ain't just I'm getting kicked out of my mom's house. I'm being kicked out of my people. It's like the law says you'll be put what did it say? Some punishments are you would be paraphrasing, cast off from being Israel. Right? That's some of the punishments for some of the crimes. That's going to deter you because you see that you can't no longer even be a part of this community.
Our people don't get it. They don't realize that when you cast these things out for the community, that the Most High is going to begin to give restoration to you and put you and establish you, whereas though you be living better than what we are living under the thumb of our enemies. And they being led to be enticed by the things that's wrong, and they don't want nobody to tell them that they're wrong. And then you got the people who have grown up, and they don't want you to say anything to their children, whereas though it's not a community that's establishing righteous judgment.
Right. It's a basically it's a community that's cast off. We know cast off from their God because of these things. Because we put faith in what the pastor. We don't put faith in God, or we if we don't go to church, we put faith in the society, basically, the government establishments. Get up and vote. Who's run? If we got people who look like us is running for Senate or running for Congress, we're gonna get behind that. But it's never coming back to the laws of God because a lot of us that grew up, even though we might have smartened up and we ain't running the streets no more, what are we doing though? We going to work, but we still ain't doing shit with our lives though. We still just going to work and then coming home getting high or coming home getting drunk or just coming home and just looking for entertainment. Just want to get some relax before going back, relax time, get some me time before going back to work. And we're all too tired to really govern our house and our community.
Or
Right.
if you do govern your community, you're the one who's seen as the outcast. You're the one who is being cast off. You're the one who is being overwhelming. But in the steed that we have now, we got to realize that the Most High said for us to make our heads hard against this generation's head. This is like this generation Z, and they living up to it. They generation zombie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they don't really want you to say nothing to us. I was going through statistics earlier this week, and they said this is the only generation who got progressively less intelligent than the previous generation. The baby boomers got smarter, Generation X got smarter, the millennials got smarter, but then it came to Generation Z. Generation Z decreased in intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
They became more increased in folly.
Right. Because why?
Phone.
Because the phone. It started with the video games.
Phone, they
Really?
They smoking mutated and GMO marijuana.
That?
They messed up in the head. They made it cool to do drugs, whereas though our generation made it cool to sell drugs, even though it wasn't no better, but they made it more cool to do the drugs. You know what I mean? Which turned into folly too as well. You got them rapping about to like smoke coke, popping pills, like all types of different buds, and it's not even bud. They smoking that Delta 9, Delta 8, Delta 10 stuff. You know what I mean? Synthetics, and it's being curated with lead and stuff. So they really making themselves dumb. And they haven't acquired themselves to the former age to see that these are the things that made people like Caligula crazy. You know what I mean? He was so crazy to the point where they killed his whole engine off. They was like, nah, we're not even going to let this man reproduce. You know what I mean? He was having sex with animals and all type of stuff. That's how born he was off of the lead. They had lead laced with absinthe. You know what I mean? And they was getting drunk off of that. And our people don't even go back and look at that stuff. And we destroy for lack of knowledge.
Definitely ain't going back that far to look at that.
but if you don't look at that, you're doing it repeated.
Right. But so we'll get into looking at that. But think about where it started. Now we can see back now, especially us in the 40s, right? Now you can look back and everything that seemed like it was fighting for something, like the 2 Live Crew battles with the government, right? The freedom of speech and the NWA, that whole thing, right? And fighting the system from being silenced. We thought that was a good thing. Oh, they fight for something, the equal rights, the right to speak. But that was what? Now we know who was pushing that forth. The small hats was in the background pushing that forth, right? Because they seen, and they seen, oh, this is little white kids, Chinese kids, whoever, they gonna listen to it, but it's in their communities, they live in it, and it's gonna make it cool to live what's destroying them already. So they already seen that, and they push that forth. Then the video games, the weed that got really pushed off of after the NWA. What came next? Snoop Dogg and Death Row, the gin and juice, the weed smoke, music, right? And then as much as we talk about drill music, that already been out, which came along with that same time frame. And all these things, this started a ball rolling rolling and rolling. Now it's got so much momentum, and also everything has evolved, right? And then you add in the social media, all the folly being right in our hands, right? You just turn on, and then the algorithm. So once you look at one thing, right, that's off, now everything that they push forth to your device is going to be catered to that. Oh, he looked up K2. Now everything coming. You got gummy ads, you got weed ads, you got K2 ads, you got Delta 9 ads, all that follies coming directly to you, right? And then with the video games, it started out, I don't know, like Sonic, right? Mario, Pac-Man, NBA Live, and then that evolved into what? Grand Theft Autos. Your Grand Theft Autos. And now
Call of Duty.
Yeah, now you're sitting in the room, you high as I don't know what, and you just zoned out to Call of Duty or Grand Theft Auto where you just going around killing, right? And there's no consequence for it. And now what do you see? 15-year-olds, 13-year-olds, 17-year-olds that's out there killing like there ain't no consequence to it, right? And then what we had in the 2000s, we got your Camerons going on national TV saying, nah, the hell with my me being a role model. It's on the parents. It's on the parents. Right? But it ain't just that. The Bible says to eat this roll. Because what? Because the knowledge that you take in, the same way the food feeds your physical flesh, any knowledge you take in is feeding your soul, is feeding your spirit. So for generations, we've been feeding our they've been feeding, pushing it to us, and we've been eating it up. We've been eating food to destroy our souls and our spirit, right? They understand this. Judah 5:19 down.
Yeah.
Or 20. 20 down. So the king of Babylon, Syria.
I got 17. I'll start at 17.
He's trying to come in and figure out why he can't break past our forces, right?
Yeah.
And there's somebody in the midst of his host that's going to give him counsel on how do you overtake and destroy this people.
The book of Judah, chapter 5, verse 17. And was thou sin not before Yahweh, they prospered, because the power that hateth iniquity was with them. But when they departed from the way which was appointed them, they were destroyed in many battles, very sore, and were led captives into a land that was not theirs. And the temple of Yahweh, their power, was cast to the ground, and their cities were taken by the enemies. But now are they returned to Yahweh, and are come up from the places where they were scattered, and have possessed Jerusalem, where their sanctuary is, and are seated in the hill country, where it was desolate.
Mm-hmm.
Now, therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error against this people, and they sin against their power, let us consider that this shall be their ruin, and let us go up, and we shall overcome them.
Mm-hmm.
But if there be no iniquity in their nation, let my Lord now pass by, lest their power defend them, and their power be for them, and we become a reproach before all the world.
Right. So they understand this, like I said, through counsel, through the various different times, through the Bible, they understand. Look, if these people, because we understand that they're the children of God, we know this. If we keep these people in iniquity, that's going to keep us in power over top of them. They understand that. Like people always want to say, yeah, that's the white man's Bible. The white man wrote that because they associate, well, we was brought here and that's where we got the Bible from. Yeah, well, they got the Bible just like we do. So they understand the writings of this Bible that look, if we keep them in iniquity, we're going to keep them in sin. We're going to keep their God mad at them. So that's why they put forth this whole doctrine in the earth that you can't judge me. You're not supposed to judge, right? But even the New Testament teaches what? Even the New Testament teaches that we can judge. Matthew or John 7:38 or 24. Even New Testament teaches that we can and should judge. And that's exactly what we need. We need judges because the whole reason white cops can go in black neighborhoods and shoot you in the back is because we're not in accordance with our God, right? Because the whole reason is because you can't tell me, only God can judge me. Yeah, that's the problem. God is judging not just you though. God is judging us. Go ahead.
John 7:28.
24.
John 7:24. Judge not according to the appearance,
Mm-hmm.
but judge righteous judgment.
Yeah, so right, judge not according to appearance. Because things can look off on surface level. Don't judge according to that, but do judge. Righteous judgment, meaning making inquisition, right? Questioning the people involved, questioning people around the situation, might know something, have seen something. This is a commandment to judge righteous judgment. That's not don't judge at all. So the problem with judge not lest ye be judged is you giving unrighteous judgment, right? Or you judging off of things that you have a problem with yourself, because then you can be judged on that, right? This would save our community if we had this. 1 Corinthians 2.
I got it.
15.
Yeah. The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 2, verse 15. But he that is spiritual judges all things.
Now, real quick. So, one of the big arguments with Christians all the time is, that's the letter of the law, or that's carnal. We supposed to be spiritual. Dang, what did Brother James say one time? He said, something crazy. He said, yeah, I don't follow the law, but my spirit does, or something like that. Don't even make sense. Because if you physically ain't keeping the law, then you spiritually ain't keeping the law. That makes zero sense at all, right? But either way, that's always like something thrown in there. It's about being spiritual. Christians always talk about being spiritual. Well, this is going on the matter of he that is spiritual. You talk about being spiritual. He that is spiritual does what?
Judges all things.
He that is spiritual judgeth all things. Go ahead.
Yet he himself is judged of no man.
Now, why is he judged of no man? Because he believes in judgment. Yeah, he practices what he preaches. Matter of fact, he doesn't do away with the Old Testament, right? With the Torah. He doesn't do away with that. No, he doesn't do away with the prophets, the wisdoms, all these writings in the whole book. What he does is he studies it to show itself approved, and he applies it. And he makes sure that he's living according to what's written. While they tell you, oh, that's the Old Testament. and you can't judge me.
I work with a pastor named Tim, and he told me he's glad he's a New Testament Christian.
Mm-hmm.
So you're telling me you can take and just be of the New Testament, what you call the New Testament anyway, and you're gonna take 80% of the book, the law and the prophets, you're just gonna throw the rest of the book away, and you're a New Testament Christian. Like that makes no sense at all.
It don't. But it's the only thing this it if you want to live the lie, it makes sense because that's the only way you can make the New Testament say what they say it says. Because what do? They go to here and they'll say, see, call not what I've clean, uncommon or unclean. And they'll say, see, it was at the beginning of the verse, there was animals, so it must be all meat is clean. And yeah, that's gonna fit because I threw out the whole, like you said, 80% of the Bible that's gonna show you, hell no, that's not clean. And it's not what he was talking about. Because in that 80% is where it says, yeah, you are like a beast because you went off from me. I treated you like a beast and you're dirty. And in the future, I'm going to come back and I'm going to cleanse you by you changing your ways. Yeah, so you throw out that 80% and now you can make Acts 10 and other scriptures mean what you wanted to mean. Right?
So,
mm-hmm.
And again, when we're looking at the New Testament is writings of the scriptures. So if we're going with New Testament only, then how do you reprove the New Testament? What Paul said, what Timmy said. Where did you get the reproving?
Yeah, that's
go back to scriptures, which is the Old Testament, not the writings of the Old Testament.
Even Christ, when he's speaking, he's opening up the book on the Sabbath day and he's teaching from Isaiah. Mm-hmm. He's quoting the Lord's Prayer from Sirach. He's quoting these things that come from the Old Testament and the Apocrypha. And then you got people who totally removed it. They're trying to tell you what's canon and what's not canon and what you shouldn't be speaking because it's in the Old Testament, which makes no sense. When it says no man has no authority to add to or take from it.
So in the New Testament alone, everybody can freestyle.
Everybody can freestyle. And even another one. Talk about Christ. Christ told the one brother that the greatest commandments, love God with all your heart, love your brother as yourself. But in the law, it tells you love your brother as yourself. You'll reprove him and not suffer sin upon him. Right? Yeah, that's where he got it from. That's the understanding. That's what it means. But if you get rid of all that and you put forth a doctrine you can't judge, you erase all that. But you have to be a judge to keep that law. You have to be a judge amongst your brethren, amongst your people, amongst your family, whoever. You have to be a judge in order to show them love. There's no way around it. And to be spiritual. To be spiritual, you have to judge all things, including yourself, and you'll be judged of no man. Right? Read verse 16.
Verse 16. For who have known the mind of Yahweh that he may instruct him? Mm-hmm. But we have the mind of Hamashiach.
Why they try to change what God said? I'm glad I'm a New Testament Christian. It says, who have known the mind of the Lord that we may instruct him? How you instructing the Most High? Because that's what you're doing when you say, I'm glad I'm a New Testament, because the old was wrong. That's the New Testament is where Christ spoke. The old is where God spoke. And God don't know what he's talking about. Right? But it says, we have the mind of Christ. It says, but we have the mind of Christ. Meaning what? We judge all things. We have the mind of Christ. Right? And that's what the Christians say, right? In the same time saying, don't judge. What's up?
So like in Paul, you see it written in Paul's writings, where he tells you that sometimes Paul's writings are hard.
Peter, but come.
Right. That Paul's writings are sometimes difficult to understand. Why? Because you have people who supposed to be still sucking on the nipple, they jump straight to the meat, they choke out.
Mm-hmm.
And he gives you a warning telling you that this right here can lead to your own destruction. Trying to eat meat when you're still a milk feeder.
Yeah. And matter of fact, so one of the reasons things Paul writes is hard to understand is because he's writing to people. He's writing to people about concerns and questions that they have where you ain't even getting that other half of the conversation. But who's he writing to? We understand through the Old Testament, through the code words he used that you wouldn't understand if it wasn't for the Old Testament. He's speaking to Israelites in Corinth. And so the same way as we are here in America underneath of European control, you're really English, right? We subject to England. They July 4th, they separate from England, but no, they still the English. So we're subject to the English, right? And it says he's writing to the Israelites in Corinth. They're subject to the Corinthians, England's forefathers, right? And it says he, the spiritual judge of all things, yet he himself is judged of no man. So if we as a people set up judges and judged ourselves, who would we not be judged by? Them judges in them courthouses. We wouldn't be judged by no man. We wouldn't have to go before the Newcastle County Superior Court, right? Wherever, Philadelphia City Hall. We wouldn't have to go before none of these judges. We wouldn't have them patrolling our neighborhoods because why? We be in order. Like if we put out all the YNs in our households and then as a community, put them out of the community, they'd have to go make a little Amsterdam like The Wire. And then guess what? They would get policed. The police would be going to little Amsterdam, whatever little abandoned street, wherever they go have a YN tent city underneath a bridge somewhere, right? The police would come through there and police that. We wouldn't have to see them at all, right? If we judged ourselves as a community, if we came back to the laws of God chiefly, right? Let's go to same book, chapter 5. Where you want to go?
When you was talking about how the Christians talking about old things are spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
Romans 7:14. How come they don't use the scripture?
Bring it up.
For we know that law is spiritual, but they're spiritual without the law.
I know, right? It says the what?
Law is spiritual.
The law is spiritual. And then we just read a spiritual man judgeth all things.
And also Romans 8:4-5. That the righteousness of the law might be fulfilled in us who walk not after the flesh, but after the spirit.
Mm-hmm.
For they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, but they that are after the spirit, the things of the spirit.
Mm-hmm.
How come the Christians don't read that and get to understand what the spirit is?
Let me get Ezekiel to go along with that. I don't really understand the Christian spirit. I don't understand it. It makes you sing and dance and talk gibberish. I don't get it. I really don't. It is a spirit. Let me get Ezekiel 36:27, because adding to what you just said. So Paul, once again, where's his knowledge coming from? Where's Paul's knowledge coming from? It's coming from what's called the Old Testament, right? That's where his knowledge comes from. That's where Peter's knowledge comes from. That's the knowledge that Christ was bringing to them. Right? So this is spiritual. Get 36:27.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 36, verse 27. And I will put my spirit within you and cause ye to walk in my statutes, and ye shall keep my judgments and do them.
So the spirit will cause you to talk Alibaba's No, the spirit, that's not what the spirit does. The spirit will cause you to walk in the statutes,
which is law.
the laws, and keep my judgments and do them. That's what being spiritual is. Right? That's the spiritual that Paul's talking about. That's what the Holy Spirit, because he has his spirit, and then you have the spirit of Satan. All that Alibaba, Ashalamama, that's the spirit of Satan.
You said the Alibaba.
Yeah. Yeah, the Alibaba, the Holy Spirit is a spirit, for one, of wisdom. Right? It's a spirit of, let's get that real quick. Wisdom of Solomon. Wisdom of Solomon. Let's do 7 and we'll do chapter 1 too, but 7 and around 22.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, 22. For wisdom, which is the worker of all things, taught me.
So wisdom teaches you. If anybody here ever learned anything from a pastor being mid-sentence and stopping and talking about and then going back talking about and the Holy Ghost, like, what'd you learn from that? Wisdom is the worker of all things. Go ahead.
For in her is an understanding, the spirit holy.
So the Holy Spirit is the spirit of wisdom, right? And it's an understanding spirit. What's understanding about people losing their mind and just stomping to an accordion and all the music playing and tamarines and just getting into a trance?
Nothing, especially
Nothing.
the person who mumbled that stuff don't even understand what they said themselves.
Exactly.
I always ask the question.
It's a spirit. It ain't holy though.
Yeah, I said, what do you get out after this over? When you go home, what did you get out of it?
I feel good.
Felt good.
I feel rejuvenated. That's because you got your blood flowing. That's all that is. You basically went to jazzercise. So they feel the same way when they come up out of there. They feel rejuvenated. They feel touched.
Change.
Nothing.
It's your finances change. It's your situation get better.
When they finances changed, it decreased.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when it does change out of, circumstance, they become even more deceived because they like, oh, it's because I gave $1,000 last month. Pastor was right. It is my season.
What you get?
Mm-mm.
Name it. Tell me so I can know the secret.
Keep going. 22.
For wisdom, which is the worker of all things, taught me. For in her is an understanding spirit holy, one only, manifold, subtle, lively, clear, undefiled, plain,
Mm-hmm.
not subject to hurt, loving the thing that is good, quick, which cannot be lettered, ready to do good,
Mm-hmm.
kind to man, steadfast, sure, free from care, having all power, overseeing all things, and going through all understanding, pure and most subtile spirits.
Mm-hmm.
For wisdom is more moving than any motion. She passeth and goeth through all things by reason of her pureness.
Right.
For she is the breath of the power of Yahweh, and a pure influence flowing from the glory of the Almighty. Therefore can no defiled thing fall into her. For she is brightness of the everlasting light, the unspotted mirror of the power of Yahweh, and the image of his goodness. And being but one, she can do all things, and remaining in herself, she maketh all things new. And in all ages entering into holy souls, she maketh them friends of Yahweh and prophets. For Yahweh loveth none but him that dwelleth with wisdom. For she is more beautiful than the sun, and above all the order of stars. Being compared with the light, she is found before it. For after this cometh night, but vice shall not prevail against wisdom.
Mm-hmm. So it's wisdom, is the Holy Spirit.
Huh.
And he this spiritual judgeth all matters according to what? The wisdom of God. Right? They want us to remain in vice. That's why they teach us that you can't judge. That's why they bring these doctrines forth to keep us in sin, because that keeps us in vice. Right? What wisdom are we invested in as a people? No jumper, right? Foolishness, gang wisdom, loving hip hop wisdom,
NBA
dumb boy wisdom, Pooh Shiesty, Drink Champs. Drink Champs is a good one. He gets on there, he interviews all them cats, and he says, and they really act like it's wisdom being brought forth. You got what's that one with Gilly and Wallow, $1 million worth of game. That's the wisdom of the world, but that's what we give ourselves into acquiring the wisdom of street knowledge, of foolishness, right?
Well, true street knowledge is knowing how not to get dragged into the folly of the streets. You know what I mean? Some people will say that it's being involved with the folly, but it involves you not being dragged into it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the true wisdom.
And it'd be the trick bag of it. And I don't know if maybe they don't realize it, but once again, who is really in control of what becomes popular and really gets pushed forth? Small hats, right?
Yeah.
So you got more foolish wisdom. You got something that's becoming popular now is interviews with former people locked up doing time. They got one called Lockdown, Ian Big. And anyway, and one big name in that whole thing is cat to be like Tales from a Crypt. Oh, OG Percy. Y'all heard him, right? Right? No, that's the Booty Hunter is Fleece Johnson. But no, OG Percy, he
I know you're talking about.
Yeah, he wasn't a booty guy.
Situation.
He wasn't a booty guy, and there's others too, but they get on there and they dropping knowledge about when you come in prison and what it stays like, and they always throw in how I'm not glorifying. We're bringing forth these stories with hopes that it'll deter the youth. But these interviews make it actually sound more like it's cool and not a big deal. So whether they realize it or not, the small hats know it. That's why it gets pushed forth like it does. Because the small hats know, they might think that they're deterring the youth, but these interviews are actually going to help us keep pushing forth, keeping these people in sin. Right? And one of the things they always talk about, once again, more folly wisdom, fake wisdom that's not wisdom. They always push forth the politics of the prison or on No Jumper, you'll see the politics of gang culture, right? And how they judge matters, which is judged off of what? It's judged off of hypocrisy. It's judged off of wickedness. It's judged off of variance with people that's your own people. That's what gang politics and
most of the
jail
time,
politics
people in
is.
these gangs, they 9 times out of 10, they get killed by people in their same gang.
Exactly. They get killed by people in the same gang, right? And it might be because somebody decided that they finally wised up and I shouldn't be going this route and left, or it might be because they might have told on something.
It could be somebody
It
just
could
trying to
be-
take your seat.
It could be that.
You know what I mean? Or and like in the case of Pop Smoke, he was a Crip and he went out there and he didn't check in with the Crips out there. So they was like, we're gonna check this nigga. They came and they hold the whole house hostage and they killed him while he was in the shower. Because he ain't check in.
And it's all fake BS, right? It's all bullshit. He didn't check in. That's why we need the laws of God. Because it might be that he told on somebody. The law says what? What's the law say about telling?
Don't tell, man.
It says don't tell bear. It also says judge righteously, which means if you're doing the same thing, that you could equate that to don't go telling on somebody else. Like it doesn't okay you selling dope and to get out of you getting in trouble, you tell next man. But what's it say about if you're questioning in a matter?
You supposed to go to him and him alone?
No,
and
if
then
you're
I'll
questioning
talk
in a
about
matter. No, question. The law says you ain't supposed to give a false report.
Yeah.
Paraphrasing. The law says that you're supposed to give your witness honestly.
Yeah.
That's called snitching in gang culture in the black people, period. That's called snitching.
keeping it real.
Like the same way, so old lady sees niggas on the street selling drugs or stabbing or shooting somebody. What should she do? Report it. That's what she should do. But
She won't do it.
But she's also going to get then these no good niggas might put a hit on her because she's a snitch.
She's a villain. That's stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, but nowadays people got
But
so
see,
much
if we was
outrage
governed
and-
by the laws of God and not foolish street knowledge, right? Street codes, these things wouldn't happen. Just showing the folly in the knowledge that we give ourselves to, either jail the jail codes, jail knowledge, gang knowledge, just overall street knowledge. It's all folly and wickedness, and it's hypocrisy. But the laws of God says, see, this is how this would clean up our neighborhoods if we appointed judges and if we carried ourselves individually as judges. It would fix us as a people in our neighborhoods, even underneath for the rulership of Esau and his government. It would fix our communities because guess what? That lady that reports what she's seen outside, she ain't a snitch no more. She was doing us all a favor. She was doing exactly what we need, and we'd all be in agreement. And we would like you'll have a couple people in the neighborhood that hate the what's going on in the streets, but they afraid to stand up. But if everybody was on one accord, nobody would be afraid to stand up no more. You would be able to get these niggas out of the community, not just out of your house when they too much for you to control. Get them out the community, and like I said, they can go be vagabonds to wherever they go, start little YN tent cities, and the police, they gonna come there where they know these niggas at, and it won't affect us, and they'll deserve what they get. Because you can always come back if you're trying to abide by the laws of God.
This is the stupidity of things, like especially with this gentrification. People don't even realize that these people that's in the community bringing down the community, selling drugs and doing all this thuggery, they don't want to bring it down the property value.
Mhm.
And that's what exactly happened during the early the 90s and the early 2000s. And from the runoff of the 80s crack epidemic and the dope and all that stuff, they brought down the property value. So then you got these corporations like BlackRock who just snuck in and they bought all the properties and stuff, and then they sold it and gentrified the neighborhoods and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they did. And people don't even realize it's our own fault. So you've been your own enemy to the generational wealth of your own area and neighborhood.
Yep. And then who's the leaders that they do go to? Who's the leaders that stand up in any type of way to speak for them and to give them a little bit of ease? Church leaders, the ones that's bringing forth the doctrine of you can't judge, right? They got the Bible that says to be, and the New Testament we're reading, he that spiritual judgeth all matters. We should be judging matters as a people, getting the no goods up out the community, banishing them from the community. It ain't like they going to jobs and they paying the bills and they names is on the leases. They just bad seeds that if we can't fix them, we just put them out of our house. They need to get out of the community. And so the church leaders, they not teaching that because they getting their doctrines from Kenneth Copeland, from whatever theology school that they attended and got their degree. They taught them how to what? How to get money, how to open a business, call it a church, right? Let's get 1 Corinthians 5:12.
Lucky, we can't leave off the system that's set up though.
Yeah.
That they designed to trap the community in that type of behavior.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Because we know that the drugs don't get here from us.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we do know this.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
like we got to remember that part of it too. And
Yeah.
even the guns. Like, remember the white boys that got caught over East
Mhm.
Side selling them guns and they killed them.
mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They bringing guns to the hood, thinking they Gary sell some guns to niggas.
Right,
Niggas robbed them and killed them.
right.
That was a small point and piece of how the guns be getting in the hood.
Mm-hmm. And I think I did mention it though. Like it's definitely systematic.
Yeah.
So
It's
why do
designed like
they do that? Because they have the understanding. Like we can stay on top if we keep them destroyed. They understand it in a carnal way, like with this bringing in the guns and drugs, and they understand in that spiritual way, keep them in sin. So it all plays together, the system, how it's set up, which is why this Bible is the fix. We know that, but our people don't know it. And it's literally the fix. And one of the main things is this whole idea with you can't judge. Like this is a Christian theology, a Christian belief. Like all of our family members that or friends that's Christians or ain't no religion, but the only place they've gotten any knowledge of Bible from is a Christian. What do they all say? You can't judge me. Like you go out and teach the Bible, one of the things people come and get mad about is you can't judge us. You're judging. No, we're just teaching, but the Bible does say that judging is needed.
Yeah, you're right. I can't judge you to hell.
Right.
That's it.
Uh-huh.
I can't make a judgment on your soul.
Condemn.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I can't do that. That's
Yeah.
what God does. I
Mhm.
can judge your behavior.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I can judge your behavior just like I judge if I need to put on a hoodie or not when I came outside. But we like that judgment. That's why, man, a lot of things are manifestations of what's going on in the spirit, in the soul, because our youth can't even judge the weather when they step outside no more.
Mm.
It's 98 degrees. Hoodie time. Hoodie. Got the hood on over the head. Zipped up. Ski mask on. It's all black. I ain't hot.
Yeah, that's
I ain't hot. I ain't stinking. Nah, we smell you. You stink. You been sweating all damn day in a tracksuit and it's 98 degrees with a 105 heat index.
Salaki, if I may say, I would like to build on what Brother Yaquab said. If we look at Ephesians 6, and it talks about putting on the whole armor of God. This is not just coming out with a hat anymore.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of it, you're going to have to be prepared. you go to 2 Timothy 3:1, it says, "And perilous time shall come." So we could see that there would not only be an attack on God's people, Yahweh's people, but it would be an attack on the laws of God, so
Mhm.
that they can get 2-for-1. So if someone's about ready to take your life and you defend your life with that type of force, Esau has set the system up that he can get 2-for-1. The
Mhm.
same thing with the sister when you were talking about, for her going in and they call it a snitch. For her to stand righteously and do what the scripture said rightly, then she risked her life to be killed
Mhm.
for it. All of this right here is set up where the times of peril is because Esau and Amalek, they're going to double up on how to get us.
Right.
So we have to be prepared. 2-for-1.
And
Yes.
she's
Coming and going.
she's missing that spiritual fortitude where she doesn't fear that, because what? The pastor is did violence to the law. The pastor does violence to the law by what? Making it null and void.
Right.
He makes it null and void. And he doesn't teach the people. And now she's afraid. But if she had that spiritual fortitude, she'd be ready to stand bold, because the Lord gonna protect me. And the Lord said do it. But now we think, don't do it. It ain't my place to do it. And now I'm in fear because they might come after me because I did what was right. But she don't have that knowledge that it really is right, not just with worldly knowledge, like it's ordained of God.
Well, it's a lot, but when you have like an older lady or someone who witnesses
Mhm.
a tragedy against one of us, right? The scripture says that they will be despisers of them that do good, right?
Mhm.
But that's where the pastor's supposed to be.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm
Flapping
saying.
his jaws in the church
Mhm.
about the dance and all this craziness, right?
Yeah.
He should be spearheading the lead against those people and not having a single sister or one lady on the block where there's about 60 animals that live on the block that do good. When he
Right.
sees it.
That's why he's supposed to be doing what Paul said. Like of all the
Mario got it?
of all the
You got that video going?
get that, huh?
Yeah, said play that. Check
Well,
it
I
on
will
the
in a
computer.
second. I don't know if I can check it on computer, but get Zephaniah 3 and 4. He's supposed to be establishing the law, right? All they ever talk is Paul this, Paul that. Paul said you're supposed to establish the law, but instead, let's start at 3. Matter of fact, 3 and 1.
Zephaniah 3:1. Woe to her that is filthy and polluted to oppressing the city.
The oppressing city, right?
To the oppressing city. Salah.
Mm-hmm.
She obeys not the voice, she receives not correction, she trusts not in Yahweh, she drew not near to her Yahweh, her power.
Mm-hmm.
Her princes within her are roaring lions, her judges are evening wolves. They gnaw not the bone till the morrow.
Because the pastors are what?
Ravenous wolves.
The pastors are ravenous wolves. That's the princes and the judges are your leaders, and they're roaring lions. They talk a lot, they shout a lot, they protest a lot, right? They give all these great sermons that move the people, but they're really evening wolves, right? Keep going.
Her prophets are light and treacherous persons. Her priests have polluted the sanctuary. They have done violence to the law.
Right. So they've done violence to the law. The law is done away with. You're not to judge. Matthew says, judge not. Right? We need judges. We need the law. Read verse 5.
The just Lord is in the midst thereof.
So, but the Lord's still in the midst thereof, right? Go ahead.
He will not do iniquity.
Mm-hmm.
Every morning doeth he bring his judgments to light.
See, that's what we don't understand. Everything that's happening in our neighborhoods is because even though the priest, he said the law is done away with, but the law ain't done away with. So since the law ain't done away with, and we refuse to hearken to the law, we refuse to be judges in our neighborhood and to govern our neighborhood according to his word, he continues to bring forth judgment to us as a people. Go ahead.
He faileth not, but the unjust knoweth no shame.
And they don't have any shame. They have no shame about turning from the laws of God. They have no shame about what that one verse say, being the Lord's counselor, telling him what is done away with and what's not. They have no shame about it.
They don't have no shame telling a grown man that's over top of them, they don't gotta listen to you. You know what I mean? So they really ain't got no shame in like saying they putting this away from them.
Salaki.
Mhm.
When we talk about what was the devil who forwarded the abortion program.
They pull the abortion program.
Abortion, the white man. Esau.
That brought forth
Margaret
Margaret
Sanger,
Singer,
right?
yeah.
It was Margaret
Planned
Sanger.
eugenics.
It was Margaret Sanger who made an alliance with the Christian church to forward the abortion program.
Yeah,
Still
yeah.
to this very day,
Yeah,
right?
they went to the southern churches and stuff like that. Yeah,
And
they
she
paid them off.
Salaki. And she made it vocal that her intent was to kill off the children of Israel. It was a Christian church who took it forward to encourage black people to join into these wars for racism, white supremacy. That all came from the church that persuaded them into that. So how much more we would be a power for people if we didn't lose as much people that we have lost on just both ends of those two things. All it is the Christian churches that has to account for this sexual deviancy that's being moved. Because it is forward by them. So they're bringing the blood. Esau can lean back in his chair because the church, the prophets, it says here that they were
doing all the work.
The law, right? The violence is against the law. And who better to take and lead a violence against the law than those who were given the law, who were put in a lawful position because they can distrust the masses
Right.
of people,
Yep.
deceive the masses of people.
Yeah, they're doing all the work. Like you
Yeah.
said, Esau can sit back because we're missing the judgment. We're missing the laws. That's the main problem. That's always been the problem. That's what the curses are.
The 30
Right.
pieces of silver.
Exactly. Let's get 1 Corinthians 5 and 12. Because this should be Christian doctrine. You should be getting this fed to you every Sunday, but they're not. They're getting the song and dance. They're getting some of the Paul, but bring forth what Paul really said. Somebody go ahead and read that.
1 Corinthians 5 and 12.
Uh-huh.
For what have I to do?
Matter of fact, let's go verse 9. Verse 9.
Corinthians
Because
5 and 9. I wrote unto you an epistle not to company with fornicators,
mhm,
yet not altogether with fornicators of this world,
mhm.
or with the covetous or extortioners or idolaters, for then must ye need go out of the world.
And if you bring these things out to your people, what happens?
They ain't trying to hear
They
it.
ain't trying to hear it, and they telling you can't judge. They telling you can't judge me. You can't judge me. It says not to keep company with them. So I have to judge something. Right? Keep going.
But now I have written unto you not to keep company. If any man that is called a brother be a fornicator or covetous.
Well, real quick. So being called a brother meaning what? So now we're talking about, we Christians. Right? We got Christ. So now that's the whole thing. Ain't no judging. We Christians. I'm not going to judge you. You don't judge me.
Oh, we Muslims.
Or Muslims. If any man that is called a brother, basically in the same circle, right? The same belief. Go ahead.
But if I have written unto you not to keep company with any man that have called that is called a brother, be a fornicator or covetous, or an idolater, or a railer, or a drunkard, or an extortioner, and with such and one not
No, not to eat. So matter of fact, not even just Christians, if it be a brother, we're the same people. So it's not just don't keep company with them, this of another nation, of a whole nother community. No, even in our own community, don't keep company with one that's a fornicator, covetous, idolater, railer, drunkard, extortioner. We got all this in the black community,
Yeah.
right? This is the problem with our community, is the fornication, the covetous. Why do robberies happen?
Because people is a member of gangs and stuff like that. You know what I mean? They got a false covenant with each other, whereas though they got this code, whereas though this brother can do no wrong because we under the same flag and banner.
Yeah. What about covetous? Like why do robberies happen in our neighborhood?
Because people jealous of the next man.
And they're covetous.
Yeah.
Why does the fornication happen? Adultery, covetous. Then you got idolater. You got half of the neighborhoods praying to a rock, half of the neighborhoods praying to a cross, right? Or a railer. What they doing in they? What's railing mean?
showing off with aggression or being
Right.
belligerent.
Being a tyrant.
Yes.
In the tyrant, one who scoffs, insults, censures, or reproaches. What they doing online?
Tagging each other.
And
we
so-
smoking on Pookie over here,
Yeah.
man. We smoking on Pookie. We at Pookie site. We smoking on Pookie.
What's the music? We smoking on Pookie. We smoking on Ray Ray.
And you get hits and you can get paid for it.
We up 5 this month. We got 5 on y'all. Railers. All these is the problem in our community. Drunkards. Who's seen the anybody seen the local hood vlogs?
Good Lord.
You see the one about right down the street.
Oh
They
yeah,
call
I've
it
been seeing
the
those
ugly.
girls, yeah.
They interviewing the drunks.
Yeah, I've seen that.
They interviewing the junkies. And they acting like it's cool.
And they hustling out there. You putting everything you doing on the damn camera. You
They got the YN that's
Oh, you talking about
that's
the one
damn
you
near a
talking about?
junkie itself.
Where he just
Yeah.
I
one more
posted
from
it.
Baltimore.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
posted it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that.
And boasting that, yeah, this is called the ugly. Like that's a good thing.
Yeah.
What's your block called? The ugly?
Yeah.
Really?
It's right down the street.
Yeah,
they
right
got
down the
one
street.
White guy smokes bud in the ugly.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of them too.
Why despising those that are good, but glorifying those that do evil.
Everybody high,
Mhm.
right? And we got high when we was young too, but man, they even worse. Generations always get worse. These cats is like they can barely talk. They like this. Like I'm gonna read this verse if I'm out there on the hood vlog. But now have I written to you the Nike company? Yeah, and them niggas they be coming through.
Yeah, I don't know what they on.
Yeah.
But look, also, you said we did that.
We thorough. We
The
thorough.
ones that's our age, they still doing it.
Yep.
Exactly.
There's no change. They
Exactly.
just like the YNs. It's like when you gonna grow up.
Yo, you see it in the
At what
military.
point
I seen
you
it.
stop?
I seen it yesterday, and it was disgusting. I seen all these YNs, and then I seen all these old heads, like 40, maybe 50. And then I seen the youngest ones out there, and they was like 12 and stuff. And then y'all sat out there getting buzzed, and y'all all out there in the
Mhm.
cesspool. And then the young female see the old female out there acting all hood rat and stuff. And then they think it's the thing to do and hang out there.
Mhm. And then where you might at least have a one little drop of being a responsible adult. Nah, they throw that out the window now today because we seen
Yeah,
it.
you pull it out the window
Well,
and
I'm
just
saying,
got pulled up on them
I'm
yesterday.
bringing up something we all seen. Remember back at the spot in the gym? Now they having the sex party with they combining that with the little
Yeah.
girl birthday parties now. That's
What?
totally thrown out
Yeah.
any type of responsibility as a parent.
We was
is
there,
out the window.
We was out there. It was a day at the class, and they had a birthday party out there, and they had little kids in there. But at the same time, they had all these adult toys on
Yeah,
the table.
it was a sex toy party and
Just
little
adult
girl
toys.
birthday party combined together in the same
No
gymnasium.
separation.
No separation. Not even a curtain.
Mm, mm, mm.
You know what that was all about? They're trying to save money.
Man,
Then they
at
wait
this
till the
point,
back.
I don't even think it was trying to save money. They think it's cute now. I ain't even gonna say it's trying to save money. Because they'll put their daughters on social media on videos and cussing or twerking.
belly out and stuff. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
little booty shorts on, a little young. Oh, too young for that, man. Don't want the little girl to be a little girl. What happened to barrettes and little hair ties and stuff like that? Why the little girl got damn lace front on? Why she got lace front on? Why she wearing leggings like that? Why she out there? I remember my sister, man, she got smacked home for wearing some leggings back in the night. She got smacked all the way home for putting on some damn leggings, man. And now this little girl walking around with leggings on. Not even just leggings, but leggings that's up past the knee. Like, come on, that's what we doing nowadays. Like, you just putting on the extra layer of skin for clothes. That's it.
So not only it says no, not these. So not to keep company with that, right? So first and foremost, you should be judging that, right?
Absolutely.
You should be judging that you're not going to keep company with it. But there's more to it. Keep reading down. There's more to it.
12.
Verse 12 and 13.
For what have I to do to judge them also that are without? Do not ye judge them that are within? But them that are without Yahweh judgeth. Therefore, put away from amongst yourselves that wicked person.
So we talking about our communities. So those in other communities, we don't give a damn what they doing in Chinatown. We don't give a damn what they doing in Little Italy. We don't give a damn what they doing in Elamville.
Yep.
Our communities, it says, put away from among yourselves them wicked people. So what's going to fix the black community? Being judges, judging each other, setting up judges, right? And yeah, you can't execute law and order because you underneath Esau, but guess what you can do? Excommunicate. The same way you don't go to cookouts, or you don't talk to old friends, not because of any problem y'all had, but just because I'm not into that no more, and you ain't trying to be into what I'm into. Well, if we was as a community and we wanted to fix our community, we would excommunicate all the wicked from our community.
But you gotta train up the children too. You gotta teach them to execute righteous judgment. You know what I mean? Judge whether or not they should put themselves in those scenarios.
And guess what? That would happen.
Teach them that it's the right way and the wrong way to do certain things. You know what I mean? Because like you said, we did certain things. So you gotta show them it's the right way to do things and it's a wrong way to do things, so they're not involved in the folly. So people ain't your friends just for occasion to do certain things, you know? So you gotta teach them, look, yo, man, we're gonna walk this path and let them walk that path over there. And they trying to be seen of men. Don't be seen of men with them.
And guess what? If we separated the wicked, raising them, that bad influence wouldn't be there no more.
Absolutely.
It'd be like a rotten tooth.
Yep.
Get rid of it.
Get rid of it.
Now the other teeth is good. That rot ain't spreading to the other teeth. But they talking about don't judge. So let's go back to the law.
That was the end of it.
That's the end of that verse.
Okay.
I want to go to another one, but I just want to read the law again.
You want that same verse?
Verse 18, Deuteronomy.
Yeah. Okay. Deuteronomy 16:18. Judges and officers should not make thee in all thy gates, which Yahweh thy power giveth thee throughout thy tribes, and they shall judge the people with just judgment.
Go ahead.
Thou shalt not rush judgment. Thou shalt not respect persons, neither take a gift. For a gift doth blind the eyes of the wise to pervert the words of the righteous.
So judgment ain't changing based off if I like you or not.
That's right.
Or oh, you hooked me out, my lights is off. You threw me $100 towards my light bill, or you just just in general, you always come in and throwing me something. You come in, you come and bring me bottles of liquor. Like, here, had that. I had a little bit. I ain't want it. Or you just always coming and doing favors. So now I'm a rest judgment. Nah. Ain't no friends in judgment. That's basically to get down, or even take a gift. Some people straight up do bribes. None of that is allowed. Right? Verse 20.
Verse 20. That which is altogether just shalt thou follow, that thou mayest live and inherit the land which Yahweh thy power giveth thee.
So, and at the end, so it's going to fix our communities where we're at, but then also it's the path to getting back to the land. It's the path to getting back to our land, not even being in a land subject to another nation, right? Real quick, Titus 1 and start at verse 9 to 13.
The book of Titus, chapter 1, verse 9. Holding fast the faithful word as he had been taught, that he may be able by sound doctrine both to exhort and to convince the gainsayers.
Mm-hmm.
For they are many unruly and vain talkers and deceivers, especially they of the circumcision.
Mm-hmm. And that's what we got amongst our people. And regular people, pastors, the leaders, unruly. We either got unruly or just vain talkers. They ain't never really talking about nothing that's going to benefit us. And then the deceivers got your pastors, obviously, that's deceiving the people, especially of the circumcision, which is what? The Jews, your so-called blacks, right? Keep going.
Whose mouths must be stopped, who subvert whole houses, teaching things which they ought not, for filthy lucre.
Mm-hmm.
For filthy lucre's sake.
We ain't gonna get money off of teaching these people to be judges. One day they're gonna start judging us. That's another reason that doctrine is pushed. Because if I teach my followers that they need to be judges of matters and to judge righteous judgment, they're gonna start looking at me, looking at my actions. So they don't want that. All for filthy lucre's sake, because it's about money for them. Go ahead.
One of themselves, even a prophet of their own, said, the Cretans are always liars, evil beasts, slow bellies.
Mm-hmm.
This witness is true, wherefore rebuke them sharply, that they may be sound in the faith.
So it says rebuke them sharply. What do you got to do to be rebuking somebody?
Yeah, I keep constantly putting them in check, repetitive.
Yeah, but what do you first have to be doing? You have to be judging. You judging them. You if you're rebuking, you're judging.
Yeah.
And it says rebuke them sharply. And guess what? Because Christians always cry about you can't judge me, right? Because they feel like, oh, you're condemning me. But why does it say to rebuke sharply? To establish that person in the face. So it takes being rebuked, being judged for you to be sound in your faith. That's what the Bible say. Right? But we're not supposed to judge each other. The law is done away with. The law that teaches us, let's go back, set up judges at that, and don't rush judgment. Don't rush judgment means what? Don't stop judging. That's what it means to not rush judgment. It's supposed to be a constant, everyday thing. Always judging each other. No days off.
Did you bring out Isaiah 39 and 10?
You want it? Because I was about to keep it
Are
moving.
you going to bring that? Yeah, bring that out.
Isaiah 30, I'm going to go 8 through 10.
30 or 39.
9 and 10, yeah, whatever.
Okay. Now go write it before them in a table and note it in a book, that it may be for a time to come forever and ever, that this is a rebellious, lying children that will not hear the law of Yahweh, which say to the seer, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things, speak unto us smooth things, prophesy deceits.
And that's one of the major
They
problems. That's what they want.
They want
We want the pastors.
smooth work.
Yep. We want to just give the money and feel good. But we want to feel like we can just buy our way into heaven, buy our way into the kingdom.
That's the Christian philosophy.
Yep.
It's not even Christian philosophy. We've been in incidents where we've been coming and giving counsel. We've been coming out of the Bible, and we had sisters walk and get away from us and say, "Oh, you're not saying what I want to hear."
Mm-hmm.
And we coming right out of the Bible. It's not just Christians. It's right here in this walk too.
It's in every walk.
They don't want
People
to
just want to hear smooth things. I want to hear what sounds good. I want
It's
to
your
make me
ears.
feel good about what I'm doing and how I'm doing it.
and deceits, basically a lie. Lie to me. Go
Mhm.
ahead, lie to me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm. All right, let's go back. Verse 21.
Verse 21. Thou shalt not plant thee a grove of any trees near unto the altar of Yahweh thy power, which thou shalt make thee. Neither shalt thou set thee up any image which Yahweh thy power hated.
So, groves and images. Groves and images. We find all these things in what?
Modern
Day society, the Christian church. You got in front of the Catholic churches, Northern Kingdom. They mostly go into them churches. What they got in front of every Catholic church?
Virgin Mary.
The Virgin Mary
Patron
set up
saints.
or patron saints and set up next to what? They put little trees next to all them groves, right? The Virgin Mary, and they decorate with trees. The same way with your big churches, and you even find this with black churches too, if it's a big enough church. But they do what? They always plant these little decorative trees that don't actually serve a purpose, but for decor. God said not to decorate his altar. And they call it, when you come to church, right? You come into the altar. That's what they say. It's not in the physical, it's the spiritual. But in the spiritual, you can cast off the laws of God and you can decorate the altar if it's spiritual. That don't make no sense. And outside these big churches, like you said, they got the patron saints or the angels.
in the palace.
What's
The
that?
big thing that usually had a cross at the top.
Oh yeah,
That's a
yeah,
palace.
yeah. Okay.
That's Egyptian mixture.
Yep. That'd be on the top of the
Palace
church.
worship, yeah.
That'd be on top of the
Yeah.
church.
Watch
This is
your
the
mind.
spiritual altar. You shouldn't have these things. He said not to have not the real images, not to plant groves. And then inside the church, you got at the front, you'll have the cross with Caesar Borgia hanging on it, or you might just have the cross, but it's always at the front, and all the pews are faced up there, and they'll either have plants inside the building or little trees, the little small decorative trees, and then they'll have the table like this is our altar. You coming up and you bringing up your spiritual sacrifices to the spiritual altar in the Christian church, and they got the image and the groves, telling you the law is done away with. But you're gonna be in the spirit, completely throwing it off and doing exactly what he said not do. Not like just the law ain't done away with, but you're exactly doing what the law says not to do. That's one of the main things. How about, okay, you saying the law is done away with, then you just have a plain, regular wall. Why you gotta have a cross at the front for everybody to pray to? You got the cross for everybody. When they pray, they bow down and pray to that cross. Evil as hell.
Well, Esau, he done draw worship to himself. He painted himself as God of Adam in the Sistine Chapel.
Mhm.
He got little children as angels would represent pedophilia. He got himself painted as all the patron saints. He painted himself as Mashiach Yahushua and the angels. You know what I mean? So he draw worship to himself. He's showing himself to be Antichrist, just like in 2 Thessalonians. You know what I mean? He's showing himself to be these graven images. You know what I mean? Bow, give worship to me. That's what he want the world to do.
And they come in there.
Picture of Caesar Borgia, they're gonna say most people gonna say, "Oh, that's the Christ."
And they come in there and they'll say they don't worship him, but yes, you do worship. Because you go in there and guess what you do? First thing they do when they get in there, the 16th, they beep, beep, beep. That's first thing they do. Talk what you if you ain't worshiping, what you doing that for? What you doing that for? That cross on your chest that means nothing, right? You come into the you come into there and you I don't know, you leave behind some rosary beads or something. What you got?
Paul writes in Galatians 1 and 6, I marvel that ye are so soon removed from him that called you into the grace of Christ unto another gospel, which is not another, but there be some that trouble you that would pervert the gospel of Yahushua. But though we or an angel from heaven preach any other gospel unto you, then let him that which we have not preached unto you, let him be accursed. So that's what we're looking at. We're looking at the apologists that are corrupting and polluting the scriptures. They're coming to us and they're preaching something that's totally different. That we can get saved by merit. You know what I mean?
How does that prayer go? Hail Mary, Mother of God.
Full of grace.
How's she the mother of God? Like that don't even make sense. So God has a mother? Really?
That's the Trinity.
That's the Trinity, exactly.
Trinity that was around.
And as much as the Christian church is so like we're anti-Catholic, you got your doctrines from the Catholic Church. That's why it's not anything different. You're just like Christianity, the same way you got different Christian churches, Pentecost, Baptist, all that, apostolic. Your whole religion, Christianity, is just Catholicism. It's Catholicism. Only difference is you don't have the parades because they put the image up front. They put the cross up front. They might not have a grove out front the door, but you come inside the front wall, you got the cross, sometimes with Caesar bow on it, sometimes not. And when it's prayer time, everybody prays that. Sometimes you might have a little statue outside, you might not. And Catholicism, they have certain times a year, they walk through the streets, and they carry them idols on their shoulders. They got a statue of Mary that they carry around. They got one of Jesus that they carry around. And they got other ones too. And they carry them around, and people sit there and they worship him as they pass by.
Some of them flog themselves with their flesh open with blood to imitate Christ.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Yeah, which is a mixture of Buddhism and polluting of the faith.
Right. All right. What else? Let's see. I don't want to start the next chapter. Let's get couple more on judgment. This is pretty much a judgment class.
Proverbs 31:9.
Proverbs 31:9.
Oh, did Matthew 7?
7 what?
1.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do that one first, since it's.
We got a whole flyer on judgment. You should pull that up.
Well, most of the verses we went to is on it, so
Yeah, most of them are.
let's go. Yeah, Matthew 7:1. And now we went to the others. So I mean, we can break this one down. This is a good one. This is the main one that they use to say you can't judge, which is really it's not even saying that. But once again, if like you were saying, that I'm so glad I'm a New Testament Christian. If you throw away the 80% of the Bible that explains everything, you can be fooled by this. You can go here and you can just make this sound like whatever you want to sound like.
But they just gonna read the first verse in it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Exactly.
The rest of it, they
That's
gonna forget. They just gonna mark out the rest of the chapter. It's just that first verse.
kind.
No context.
No context at all. So somebody read that.
I'll bring it up. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 1. Judge not that ye be not judged.
So they take it as don't judge, because if you judge, God's gonna judge you. That's how they take it. Don't judge, because if you judge, God's gonna judge you for being a judger. That's not what it means. Like, so God is schizophrenic, or he's I don't know what's
Author of confusion.
author of
Which
confusion.
he says he's not.
He said, make judges as a law. Don't rest judgment. Then he comes back and no, don't judge.
That's the,
If you judge, I'm gonna judge you for judging people.
he's a guy must be a schizophrenic. I'm sorry, I was going on something else. Go ahead.
So it's saying, judge not that ye be not judged, meaning you're supposed to judge and you're also supposed to be clean. That's what it means.
So,
Uh-huh.
yeah, so that's what I'm about to say. That tells you that the people that are amongst you is bearing witness to their spiritual condition, because then there's very few people who can speak up and judge.
Mm-hmm.
It tells you the condition of the house when you talk about Christianity, and that's why they don't want to judge, because they know that they haven't been sanctified or justified by anything. So therefore, they're not going to condemn themselves. They willingly are refraining from judging because they already know how unclean they are.
Yeah, and that's why they won't judge themselves, but then also they don't want to be judged because they don't want to have to change from that. So they go here like, you can't judge me. If you judge me, you're going to get judged. But keep reading.
Verse 2. For with what judgment ye judge, ye shall be judged.
See, so it explains it. So yeah, if you go to Christ, he said, whosoever is without sin, cast a stone. Cast the stone. But then he told her, sin not. We're going out and telling people to not sin. We're not casting stones. They try to make it like telling them to get right, telling somebody to repent. You're casting a stone at me, because that's not
the context of it, that they was really about to cast the stone.
Yeah,
they was in folly in doing so, because they didn't have the other person there to rest judgment with her. Because if you have an adulteress, you have to have an adulteress. So they was in a folly accusing her and not having the adulterer there along with her. They don't realize that they, in the context, they couldn't stone her because they didn't have the other person there to cause the stoning. And also they probably still couldn't stone her because these guys were just like the guys in Susanna. That's why they did it that way. They probably wanted to lay with her. If it was, they was trying to tempt him. If she even was caught in anything, they could have been trying to lay with her, and she was like, "Nah," and brought her and just lied. But he said, and they didn't bring the other, so you can't stone her. You didn't bring the other, but they probably also was adulterers themselves. So you can't, if you're an adulterer, you can't go stone an adulterer. That's what this verse is saying. So with what judgment you judge, you shall be judged. Meaning, that's why even in the law it says, set up judges. Meaning you don't just go find any old body and say, hey, you an Israelite? Yeah, look, we need you to be a judge. Now, this nigga might be battling something.
he might still need judgment. He might still need rebuke and correction. So that's what it's saying, that with what judgment ye judge, ye shall be judged. And once again, the thing with the woman caught in adultery, they was going to execute the condemnation. They wanted her to be stoned, right? Christ deaded that. But when he deaded that, he came back and he did what? He told her the same thing we try to tell our people, not to sin no more. And they want to act like that's the stoning. If that was the stoning, why would Christ have did it? Why would he have told her that? No, because that's the message we supposed to bring forth, to repent. And we supposed to be subject to that rebuke too, which we are, because it's not stoning. Because that's what we need. The whole purpose of it is we're trying to not be stoned
To repent.
in the end with that lake of fire, to be cast off and not make the kingdom. That's the whole purpose of the rebuke and being open to rebuke. You want to make it to that kingdom. They just want to pay for it.
A lot.
Mhm.
Also, when they look at it, if they were to bring the male with them, then they're going to have to answer the question, what are we going to do with our brothels? What are we going to do with the strip clubs?
Yeah, because they probably running them. They probably run them. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They probably was into that type thing.
Yeah.
They probably was into laying with other men's wives, all of that.
A bunch of hormones
Mhm.
right there.
But
they
that's
still
what
in
it
that
means.
industry.
Not to that judge not that ye be not judged. You own a brothel, but you want to stone a woman for adultery. Oh well, my whores, they don't. None of them are married,
Mhm.
so I can stone the adulteress. Yeah, but they're whores.
Getting married.
There's no thou shalt make no whores the daughter of Zion. What you stoning the adulteress for? And you run a whole brothel with the daughters of Zion.
Which makes him guilty of the whole law, because now he's a covenant of some man's daughter.
And then we also got to correct it. That don't mean you can be a brothel of other nations. You can't own that.
Let alone that, like that's a spec. If you running the whorehouse, he got the whole beam.
Mhm. Like, because we got to say that too, because a lot of us are still coming out the world and think, okay, yeah, I can't go into the whorehouse if it's daughters of Zion, but the heathen, it's all right. It don't say they can't be whores. Okay, well, Paul said, be blameless. You being holy is being blameless. So Paul is quoting the law too when he said be blameless. Like, it's not just wisdom he's given. What does it mean to be holy? Set apart, different from the world. So you have to be blameless. The other nations, matter of fact, it said, when they shall see us keeping this law, they will glorify God. That's the nations. So you can't go and, as long as it's heathen, I can own a brothel, or I can go to the brothel. It's heathens in there. Nah, you supposed to be holy. So that's what it means. Judge not that ye be not judged. Right? Go ahead.
And with what measure ye meet, it shall be measured to you again.
Mm-hmm.
And
Watch
why,
this.
And why beholdest thou the mote that is in thy brother's eye,
Mm-hmm.
but considerest not the beam that is in thine own eye?
You ain't supposed to be out here judging people where you got the same problem. Right? That's so, like Yakman said, they just white out the rest of it. You read down and it explains it. You got this mote in your eye, but you're trying to remove his mote. We all supposed to be removing our motes. And then we supposed to be judging each other like, yo, you putting that mote back in your eye. Oh, I am? Oh, thank you. I got right here. Okay, let me take that out. That's brotherly love. What was that one you said, Yakinan?
Oh, it was on Proverbs 31:9.
That's what you wanted to that?
Yeah.
Went down to 5?
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
that's good. That's the point.
you want to go to 5?
That's the
Because
point right
yeah,
there.
that was good,
I
right?
didn't know if you were still trying to kill
Nah.
time.
Nah, we're gonna go to the next one and probably end it. Where we at?
Proverbs 31:9. You could want Isaiah 51:8 too. 58:1.
31.
Yeah, let them be the last two.
Go ahead.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 31, verse 9. Open thy mouth, judge righteously,
Mhm.
and plead the cause of the poor and needy.
It's always words that leads to this. You can't judge me, right? It's never actual condemnation. It's always just words. But it says, open thy mouth. So not just judge, open thy mouth. Say something.
Speak up.
Yup. And plead the cause of the poor and needy. This is why.
And that's twofold.
What's our neighborhoods? The poor, the needy neighborhoods.
Yeah, mentally and spiritually.
Who's afraid to say something? The poor and needy, that old woman. That's the only one that has a problem with what's going on the block.
Nah, she ain't the only one.
Well, one of the few. One of the few. Sometimes only, not always. But guess what? Not enough is there ready to judge with her for her to cast off that fear. Right? That's what we need in our neighborhoods. We need to start judging each other. Right? What's the last one?
Isaiah 58:1.
Like it makes no sense because everybody talking about don't judge me. Don't tell me where I'm sick in the spirit at. But what if your doctor did the same thing? What if your doctor followed that? Oh, he got cancer. I don't want to hurt his feelings though. I'll just slide this under here. Hey, Carl, looking mighty healthy. Don't see any problems. How you feeling today? You feeling good? Yes, because you are good. Nobody wants that, do they? Isaiah 58:1.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 58, verse 1. Cry aloud, spare not. Lift up thy voice like a trumpet and show my people their transgression and the house of Jacob their sins.
No, don't judge me.
Cry aloud, spare not. Lift up thy voice like a trumpet and show my people their transgressions and the house of Jacob their sins.
See that? This is God's word, right? That's God speaking. But leave it to the pastor. He changed his mind. He came back and changed his judgment, his thought. This is commandment. So this is a law.
Yep, and
This is a law.
I'll be out there and we can't spare their feelings. Can't spare nobody's feelings.
Matter of fact, I got one more. I got one more.
Go ahead.
This is going to show the severity in that. They want to rest judgment. They don't want you to say nothing, but guess what? Jeremiah, so I get 48:10. And this verse should cause fear in a lot of pastors and a lot of everybody to a certain level. Somebody read that.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 48, verse 10. Cursed be he that doth the work of Yahweh deceitfully.
So you're doing the work of the Lord deceitfully. You just in it for money. You just say it to get followers. It's a curse to you, right? And that's why they bring forth these lies that don't judge, because then what's going to happen? Less people come, less money. But I'm doing the work of the Lord. Come to the Lord's house. But you being deceitful, that's a curse.
I don't think them either. You got people in the walk and they try to make merchandise out of the children of Israel too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, so that them too is calling them out too. They doing the work deceitfully. They look
Right.
at it as a cash grab.
Mm-hmm.
And then they try and get the, what's that called? When you get the money on YouTube, what's that called?
They're trying to
a super
monetize.
chat.
Yeah, they're trying to monetize the word. They're trying to monetize YouTube channels. Like you got members only. Wait, I gotta pay.
To get
And
an
you got-
exclusive
Yeah, I don't
review.
never
Yeah,
do any of them.
yeah, I don't either. But you,
Oh, tripping.
so to get these certain, like I went on Vocab channel. I like to go on there. I don't watch his teaching. I go on there when he brings up ex-Israelites to see where the mind goes when you think you coming out of the
You
code.
say what page?
Vocab alone.
Okay.
I only go there to check out where you got like an ex-ICGJC member because I want to do a reaction video or a video just on cats, like what it happens when you fall out of the truth, because these cats really be bugged out. And when you watch their videos, it's more than just doctrine. You can point out just the way they dress, the way they carry yourself. Like you can see a lot of how they fell out. It just shows forth like you just never had any faith. But he's so big on, I just care about getting people, bring them to the Lord, bring them out of these cults. I got to save black people. But then he's got like Matthew 28 or 20 something breakdowns, and that's members only. So actually teaching, you got to pay for it. You're actually teaching something because you got the right doctrine, right? You're actually teaching something. Oh, you got to pay for that. But if it's about, oh, this religion is false, this teaching is false, don't listen to these people. Oh, that's free. Hebrew Israelism is so false, that's free. But okay, I got this lesson on Matthew 28, members only. And sometimes not just with them, like you said, in this walk, you got Israelites, they got breakdowns, this members only. Oh, this debate, that's free. This is free, that's free. But this breakdown that gives understanding, members only. You got to pay for that. And it's not like it's pay for that and then it's paying for the rent of a sanctuary. Nah, it's pay for that. And it's going in my pockets so I can go out tonight. Cursed be he that doeth the work of the Lord deceitfully. And go ahead.
Cursed be he that doeth the work of Yahweh deceitfully, and cursed be he that keepeth back his sword from blood.
That means you cursed if you keep back your judgment. Because the word's what?
Double-edged
A
sword.
double-edged sword.
Burden soul.
So it ain't just talking about literal keeping back your sword from blood, but yeah, if the look at what happened to Saul. He was told to go slaughter the Amalekites, everybody. He held back his sword from blood. He brought back the king.
Brought back Agag.
He brought back Agag. He brought back sheep. And guess what? He was cursed. Same be for you when you hold back your sword from blood in the spirit. I ain't going to judge. I'm not going to say nothing because that'd be judgment. That'd be judging. I can't judge nobody. I can't bring forth the truth. I can't rebuke my brother. I can't bring nobody back to repentance because we all sinned once. I got to let them be. It'd be judgmental for me to say something. That's holding back your sword from blood.
And if I'm rehearsing my sin as a lifestyle, that would be a statement I would use. I can't judge.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Man, when I rebuke young brother, I tell him a lot. Man, you can learn a lot from a dummy because I was once stupid too. That's what I told him. I was once stupid too. I used to do that same stupid stuff you doing. And let alone that, I did it better. Because y'all out in the open and y'all stupid. Man. Y'all let everybody see your business. You let everybody know your business. Being stupid.
Kind. All right. Anybody want to add something before I close out? Anything?
Yeah, I wanted you to, well, you didn't know for that video, did you?
You ain't got your inbox on your computer?
I don't know how to use it.
All you gotta do is click on it.
Let's see.
Maybe the original YN.
Let's see here.
Or you could just play it on your phone and put up and show the.
Oh, hold up. I'm figuring it out. Yeah, I don't know.
Just play it on your phone and show the computer if you're still live.
I'm trying to pull up on there.
Playing on my phone.
Oh, the video ain't playing? I'm about to pull it up. All right.
Anyway, that was back in the 60s.
Yeah. Revolution era.
Looks like you guys got a little ski on too. Yeah. And here we are today.
Yeah, damn idiot.
With that, we're gonna close out. Pick back up next week. Deuteronomy 17. So I'm gonna just change the title of this one. Thou shalt not judge. Yeah. So nothing before I close out. Nope. Give all praise, glory, and honor Yahweh Bashem Mashiach Yahweh Shai. This was the Hebrew Chosen Elect Sabbath class. Shabbat Shalom and Kwame Yashala.
Kwame Shah.